He's pooping. He's pooping.
What
You good?
Intro?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
All right.
Dak Bob
Hey,
back
final
from the
episode
bathroom.
of the 2025-2026 season, fellas. We have a national champion. It feels like it was very long ago, but the Indiana Hoosiers got it done. Crazy. Was it – I should have this in front of me. Apologies. Was it 27-21 or what was the final score? Terrible that I don't know this.
Yeah, shit. Good question.
I think it was 27-21, right?
Yeah, they lost by
27-21. All right, I got that.
Yeah, they
27-21.
needed a touchdown to win it. Yeah.
The Canes did cover. That's what I was saying. The Canes going to cover. I thought this was going to be their toughest matchup, just from a matchup perspective of the O-line, the D-line, the physicality, everything. Mendoza, though, that kid's got stones. As much of a dork as he is, man, that touchdown run, I gotta give him his flowers. That was pretty impressive. He was getting beat up back there. Miami's a hell of a team. But yeah, fellas, I mean, Indiana, national champions. If we would have said that in the summer, we'd been you're smoking crack cocaine. They were a good team last year, but I think if we all guessed probably their record, probably like an 8-4, not a playoff team, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not. I thought last year was maybe a little bit more fluky based on their schedule. I figured they'd still be good this year because Cignetti, they took such a big jump year one under him, and he was obviously a good coach, and so I assumed they would at least be a good football team. But I thought last year a lot of that had to do with what their schedule was like, because they got destroyed by Ohio State and they got destroyed by Notre Dame. Like the bigger games that they played, they weren't really competitive in it. And I mean, just me myself, most of the year, I was kind of an Indiana doubter. That's on me. Even up until the very end. I pretty much picked against Indiana every single time. Going into the playoffs, I said I'm going Alabama. And then I said I was going Oregon. And then finally going into the last game, I said I'm going Indiana. I'm not betting against them. Well, I did bet against them.
You did, yes.
Yeah, no, I took Miami. I just took Indiana on the pod. But, hey, they proved me wrong. Mendoza was that guy all year. And the stats aren't as flashy, obviously. I honestly think they threw for more yards during the regular season last year. But he doesn't turn the ball over. He makes all the right throws. He can throw into tight windows. And then he had his, like, Tim Tebow, it felt like, moment in the Heisman.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
That fourth down run, it was very Tebow-esque. Yes. And he's kind of a Tebow-esque sort of guy. And so it makes sense. But, hey, you got to give him all the credit in the world.
Jesus? So you saying it's his love for Jesus? Is that why?
That's part of it. Yeah, that's definitely like a big part. But it's also not just that. It's the whole, like, I love my guys so much. I'm never going to let them down. You know, we're doing this for the people. Right. They give a lot of the same speeches. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
all right. No, you know, I'm just trying to you know.
Not that there's anything wrong with this, but Mendoza he just reeks of a guy who's never smoked weed in his life. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but he's a straight shooter, and I don't know, he seems like the type of guy that maybe in other environments could be a buzzkill, but he obviously gets his team hype. He kind of is the Heisman version of the.
We lost you.
God, coach is
frozen.
Stu, we lost you. We lost you.
Am I back?
It's like the voice is off.
Yeah. I think we got to go out and maybe pop out, pop in.
We don't got
to restart, but we can pop out, pop in.
Technical difficulties. We're going to pop out, pop back in. All right. Apologies. Technical difficulties again. It's been happening a lot lately. I don't know what's been going on, but we'll hopefully have that ironed out next season. But
go ahead, Sue.
Yeah, but Fernando Mendoza, Heisman version of the guy's coach is right kid. And congrats.
No, I agree. He is the guy's coach is right. What does he say after that? He's like, if we want to do this, we got to be together. And everyone yells, shut the fuck up. I feel like Mendoza, the shtick maybe wouldn't play everywhere, but it's perfect for Indiana, and it's perfect for Signetti. You know, great competitor, had a hell of a season. Like I said, doesn't make any of the wrong throws. They take care of the ball, and I shouldn't have doubted what they were doing. They put together a bunch of fourth and fifth year guys who were experienced. They'd been under Signetti for a while, and they kind of filled the gaps with other guys who were vets. Talk about the team age all you want. I think it was their average was what? They were like 22 years old or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 23 for starters. Yeah.
Yeah, 22, 23 years old.
Yeah, I think it was in the 23s.
But I mean, college football, it's tough to get guys to stick around. You're able to go do that. It's not like they went and picked a bunch of power four guys who were fourth and fifth year guys, which is, I feel like what we see a lot of the time in the transfer portal. They went and got guys from smaller schools sometimes. And I mean, Mendoza was from Cal, which is ACC, but still not a lot of people were talking about him going into the year. And so they did the right way. They really didn't commit any sort of fouls. They didn't get a lot of flags called on them throughout the year. And they're the best team all year without a doubt. Miami did have them on the ropes though. They 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Miami was a really good team. I think honestly, they just ran into a buzzsaw, and that they had a chance there at the end. Carson Beck did Carson Beck things. He had been good all playoffs, and even in this game, he wasn't awful. But just to pick at the end there, I thought the one thing with Indiana and why I like the matchup, and I picked Indiana to win, not just one reason. Obviously, they were good all season, but how militant they were, how many penalties they didn't get, right? I mean, they just didn't make a lot of mistakes. Well, the machine compared to Miami, who they were one of the more penalized teams in the country this year. And at the end of the game, right, the lineman goes off false start, and that led them going to a field goal. I thought they were going to score a touchdown there, and that left the door open for Miami to go win the game, win it by 1 point, 27-21. And, threw into double coverage. I think our friend Sammy Sabo was trying to tell us in the group chat that he was wide open. I don't know how he missed that. He was double covered. Maybe he could have, if it was like the most perfect pass ever put in the breadbasket, there was a little bit of room, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just got to say, Sammy Sabo doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So I just want to put that out there because I remember him texting that. I went back and watched the film. I go, I don't know, man. He's
so yeah, not to give Sammy Sabo any credit because I do agree. I wouldn't consider him to be a ball knower, really. He's kind of just throwing caution to the wind.
There was a spot for him to get the ball, but
so I saw that on
the end zone. That wasn't happening.
I saw that on Twitter, which is basically like he had the man wide open. And they had a chance to win it. He was wide open if he fed that ball corner end zone because he beat the corner, but the safety was right there. If Carson Beck went corner, yeah, like I
asked from the Incredibles, like he wasn't hitting that.
Exactly. And the throw was nowhere near it. It was
terrible throw,
dude. But they were driving too. Because I think that was either first or second down.
30 seconds, 40 seconds. There's a lot of. They got the ball back with a $140, $130, like a lot of time.
And they were moving the ball the whole second half and that drive. And I kind of thought they were in it at that point. Yeah.
Oh, wow. They're gonna win this. I actually thought they're gonna march down and win it at their place at that point because they were moving the football. And then their defense does what their defense is done, and it just capitalized on a bad throw. And credit to Indiana. I mean, dude, listen, I took a future bet, as you guys know. LA Rams already killed it. Screw the Rams for that one.
Yeah.
But the only reason I was like, all right, I'm kind of somewhat rooting for Indiana to pull it off is that I don't know, man. Like this was a good team, and I got to give my flowers to not only Mendoza but Kirk Sinet's a hell of a coach. He's just a hell of a coach. Like him, hate him, whatever. Google him. I mean, this is one of the more remarkable things to do in this. Not even this era. It's the fact it's Indiana. It's Indiana. They were always a win on everybody's schedule from the top of the Big Ten to the bottom. I mean, just they were. So I don't know, man. That's the era we're living in where these schools with obviously they got big donors. Mark Cuban's one of them, but that's not what this is. You know what I mean? It's not that. Like,
no,
not to take a shot at Texas Tech, but Texas Tech's an example of like
all I had with this Indiana team is that they kind of remind me of 2016 Ohio State with JT Barrett in a way. And Signetti, the way he coaches these teams kind of reminds me of the Urban Meyer coach teams. Not that
Okay.
2016 Ohio State won the Natty, but just the overall vibes and kind of aura of this Indiana team made me think of 2016 JT Barrett. Mendoza, albeit a little bit cornier, but play style also kind of reminds me of JT Barrett too.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, this team, yes, they had resources this year for sure. We all heard of the biggest alumni base, of course, whatever. But like, that's not how they built this team. They did it through Signetti being, the recruiter that he is, finding those 3-star, obviously even guys that were no stars and 1 stars and 2 stars, all the way up from IUP, Iona, James Madison. Like, he develops talent. He finds the right guys for his system. Mendoza was that, and all these cats are. And now he's got Josh Hoover next year. So guy who threw for over 4,000 yards from TCU, as you guys, the furry man, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, dude.
I think he's going to be good for them, man. We're going to do our top 10.
We watched him. I mean, not that it means anything, but we watched him torch UNC also. Bill Belichick's first.
Yeah,
game.
he did. I mean, but you go to a furry convention and you're going to be called a furry. He posted on his story. What do you want? But hey, do what you do in your free time. You got to do what you enjoy. The Indiana thing, though, like, that is, like you mentioned it, like, they have all the resources in the world. To be fair, they always have, and they just never really invested in their football program. Like, they have, like you mentioned, they have a huge alumni base.
But this era's new, right? Like, I mean,
it is new. But you still have the option to invest in your facilities, invest in your football stadium, and still invest in finding a really good head coach. I'm not sure they ever would have done that if Signetti, I don't want to say he fell into their lap, but in a sense, he kind of did. He was looking for a big time job.
Credit to their AD for getting him.
Exactly.
What a hire that's been.
Yep.
They've lost 2 games. The 2 games they lost, fellas, last year were to the 2 teams in the national championship.
Yeah.
And then they didn't lose a game this year. So credit.
Well, just kind of interesting tidbit on allocation of funds to Indiana. I watched I forget his name. He's the guy who I think he played tight end at Penn State, and he does like interviews with all the
big time. Yeah, he does his own stuff now. I think he's big time now. Yeah.
Yeah, he sat down with Signetti and basically like asked him like why Indiana and how did he get the job, and he said he wanted to stay at James Madison for a long time. He thought he had a really good thing going there, but what kind of moved the needle for him was, I guess, the Indiana president, the president of the school, made a huge emphasis during the interview process and when they were reaching out to him that like, hey, like, we're realizing that football is what moves the needle for these schools in terms of admission and like overall revenue for the school itself, let alone athletic department on its own. And so
it's
I think
Stu Adam Brenneman.
Yeah. And so essentially, and I just know this from hearing about things on the IU basketball side too. I guess when this new president came in right around when they hired Signetti, I'm pretty sure it's a girl. I think off rip, she was like, basketball is not like we are a basketball school historically, but that's not what's going to boost the enrollment at IU. Yeah. That's not what's going to bring us in money. And so I know on the basketball side from their fans, there's been a lot of complaints because a lot of that funding for NIL that initially would have been going to basketball is no longer going to basketball. It's all going to football now from how it sounds.
But that's what's crazy is like they put together this roster and it's not like they went and outspent Texas Tech. They didn't go and outspend even LSU. It wasn't like, hey, let's go get every single 5-star in the portal. It was built with a bunch of guys that came from JMU with Signetti. And then still like they had some G5 guys from the portal. And he just realized like they did it the right way because in today's day and age of college football, you don't have a lot of guys that stick around. And you don't have a lot of veteran players on a lot of these teams because you do pay a lot of young guys. And so if you can get guys to stay in the same system for even just 2 years, that's a big deal. And if you can get guys who have been around the game of football for a long time, that's a super big deal. And that's how they won it. Like they weren't like, even if you go just the final game, apples to apples comparison against Miami's bigger, faster, stronger. And yet Indiana's defense,
more pros, just straight up more pros.
Straight up.
The only first round. And
if you look across the landscape of like college football in the NIL era too, that usually in most cases, I would say like 80 to 90%, the guys that are getting paid the most are the guys that have the highest ceilings. And Kurt Signetti said in that sit down with Adam Brenneman that his number one thing he looks for when recruiting is production over potential. He said, why would I go get a guy who could maybe play as good as this guy when I could just go get a guy who's already playing this good? And it makes sense because you see these guys, these Indiana defensive linemen during the game were like, oh my God, they look so much smaller than all of Miami's O-line, yet they're getting to the quarterback and they're being disruptive. And so, I mean, it's a testament to him having the philosophy to say, like, screw what everyone else is doing. Like, I'm just going to go get the guys who can play football.
And not to bring up Belichick, because obviously that whole thing happened with the Hall of Fame, but it does kind of remind me a little bit of how the Patriots were under Belichick, kind of the do your job. And Mendoza, he's a quarterback. He's going to take care of the football. You're always going to move the rock, get past the 50. Don't turn it over. Don't put your defense in a tough spot. You don't have to go and pay for the top talent on your defense or offensive side of the ball. Just do your job, execute. Don't turn the ball over. Don't commit penalties, and you'll be all right if you're a well-coached football team. And so, like, it did kind of remind me a little bit of that, and that's maybe the era that we're going into. That being said, part of the reason I doubted him was because I was like, I don't really know if Mendoza is like a perennial all-star like what we've seen in the past. He might just be that, though, and maybe like he's the number one overall pick. You know,
yeah, he feels like his playing style, not his personality. Personality side, he's a great leader. Whatever you want to say, he's a little bit of a dork, right? Whatever. He is like Jared Goff, but more athletic. He's lethal, and he can move. I mean, he's not mobile. I'm not saying he's mobile, but clearly he can move. Yeah. That's kind of how I look at him.
I feel like he's kind of in between of Jared Goff and Russell Wilson is kind of what I feel like I see with Mendoza.
That's I
mean, he's 6'5" with an arm, and he's intelligent as fuck too. Like that's huge.
And I think Clint Kubiak's going to take that job with the Raiders, and we'll get into NFL talk for a little bit. We'll get into this top 10 too. I'll say this about Cignetti. The team that's kicking themselves the most, and it was a terrible situation they were going through. Do you know who he interviewed with before he went to Indiana? You guys are talking about he wanted to stay at JMU. There was a job that he interviewed for.
Michigan State.
Not Michigan State.
That's funny. I saw.
I don't want to give away a hint, but I'll explain it to you. There is a hint with Michigan State that you just kind of gave up, but it doesn't. I'll just let you guys guess. Dak, you got to guess?
Yeah, I did see this, and I'm trying to remember who it was that I saw.
Is it Big Ten?
No.
It's not Arkansas.
No, close. It's the other MSU, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, yes. That's yes.
Which is crazy. And they were going through the whole death of Coach Leach. Like, I get it.
I don't know.
Levy out there. They just kind of stuck with their stuff. And, he had a decent year this year, so I don't really blame them, but it's just what could have been. I'm not saying they could have won a natty. Not the same resources whatsoever as Indiana. But, I don't really know how much that – like, I don't think they would have won a national championship, but Mississippi State would be in probably the playoff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's that good of a coach. Like, we can say what we want about – he's clearly that good of a coach. I got to give him credit to him because he's kind of figured out the system. He's worked his way up. He is kind of the next thing to – like, you look through all the coaches, fellas, we got now, right? And we'll go through our top 10 here, and that'll kind of, like, allude to all these great coaches that are still obviously in the game of college football. I mean, who obviously is same product, but so are those four guys that were in the semifinals. This guy, and Cristobal's his own breed. We've seen that. He's kind of a hard ass. Yeah. And a good coach. I think this year proved a lot, and I think a lot more people are going to be down to go to Miami because, like, they showed their true colors. They're legit as they're in the ACC, but let's give them a shot and they can show their talents kind of thing. They're going to lose a lot of guys. A lot of that O-line's gone. A lot of that D-line's gone.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting to here is there ain't like I mean I hope as a Michigan fan, Kyle Whittingham, who has been at Utah, can showcase how good of an old school coach he is. Maybe he can, but there ain't a lot of coaches like Sig who can be kind of that. Not calling him the next Saban. They ain't going to win 6 national championships. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sig now wins another championship in the next 5 years. No doubt. I would not be shocked. Like this.
If you take like full body of work out of it, like if you take full resume out of it and you almost just do power rankings of like who's the best coach right now coaching college football.
Yeah.
It's easy to say because they just won the Natty, but it's hard to say anyone other than him that you'd rather.
Kirby Smart would be the only debatable one right now to me. Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
That's it. because he's got 2 and he's there every year. He's. I know they lost to the Ole Miss, crazy game, but they're there every year. Like they are always good.
And they've been on the like.
You're right, Stu. That's it. Nobody else.
No, that he's the only one.
And I bet
like,
if you ask some Georgia fans too, I bet you would catch a few Georgia fans if you asked them, would you trade Kirby for Cignetti right now? There would be a few, I think, that would say, yeah.
Maybe a few, not a lot.
But not too many, just because he's got. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. I get your point.
There'd be some, though. There'd be some.
Any other spot, I'd be like, yeah. I mean, and that's the point here, right? I mean, he's homegrown. He played at Georgia. You know, he's got the Natties. He's always there. He wins the SEC every other year, or the last 2 years at least. So but I get your point, right?
And I think like at least the other thing with Cignetti too is just like you mentioned old school coaches. You also have to have the confidence to be like, hey, this is the way that I'm going to do it. I'm not going to just go spend the most dollars in the portal and go get guys from Georgia, LSU, Texas, USC. There's a lot of pressure on Kirby to be like, hey, you got to bring in a top 5 transfer class, and these have to be perennial all-stars that you're bringing in, like 4 and 5-star guys. And if you don't do that, it's like, and then you don't have success. It's like, all right, what are you doing here? And so you have to have the confidence to be like, hey, here's how we're going to set it up. This is the system that we're going to run, and we're not just going to go get best player available, essentially. And so, and Cignetti had more of a leash to do that, obviously, because you're at Indiana. But still, yeah, I would put him top 2, top 3. You know, it's him and Curb, and that's about it.
All right, well, fellas, great championship. It's been a great season of college football. Who would have thought Indiana's hoisting the trophy against Miami? I will say that was cool to see them play at Miami. Obviously, there was a lot of IU fans. It's kind of been the whole narrative, and it's true. I mean, they showed out. You know, we were at a local bar here in Austin, Texas, and cheering on the Ducks with our good friend Dave Ocampo, who we'll keep Dave Ocampo's this whole week just out. You know, tomorrow's a big day for Michigan, the Stu Marines in basketball. But he's donning the Spartan gear. His girlfriend went there.
Fake friend after we sat through the Oregon ass beating.
Yeah, but that was crazy.
Dude, it's for the best. He's on a cold streak. Like it might be for the best.
Yeah, Dak and I cheering on the Rams. I mean, Stu, you were from afar. Yeah. This is consistent showing up, right? Like we've shown up, and you know,
showed up for Real Madrid.
Hey, and
we did.
All right, maybe I didn't show up for that one, but
it's all right. But you know what? You showed up. Like, you're making your way. Like
also, one that hasn't come up yet was when I rocked Kawhi Leonard jersey out to the bar.
Yeah, Clippers, man. I mean, we're doing it all.
Turns out we didn't even go out for that game. That game had finished and they had lost, and I just looked like a douchebag rocking a basketball jersey.
He was rocking a PG jersey.
Yeah, I think so.
Or no, maybe Lamar Odom. I don't know.
I think I was wearing the Lamar Odom one.
There we go. Had the Clippers gear on, but he's rocking Spartan Green tomorrow for the Michigan State game. If you're watching this, we're putting it out tomorrow probably. But
last Indiana thing, I did have a request.
Yes.
Ryan texted me because I mean, I disrespected
IU grad Ryan.
IU grad. Yep. Him and his friends, they kind of trademarked Heisman Mendoza. Whatever. I told him.
Can I say this, Dak? It sounded outlandish in the moment. I think we were golfing. I think all 3 of us were golfing with him before he moved. And when Heisman Mendoza came out, I'm like, that just doesn't roll off the tongue, nor will that happen. And it did.
He's Heisman Mendoza.
Crazy. It did.
No, yeah. He's Heisman Mendoza. They played the long card. I think they all had a future bet on it. Hey, props to him. But he did text me not long ago, like a week ago. He's like, hey, can you guys do a topic on TRC for me? And I said, sure. And he's like, would you compare 2026 Indiana to 2019 LSU? I told him it would be a very short conversation, but happy to have it.
Yeah, there's not much to say here other than 2019 LSU is dog walking this IU team. As good as they were, that 2019 LSU team is like up there with 2001 Miami Hurricanes.
Can I ask this? Because I agree. I do agree. Let me put that out there. Can I ask this, Stu? Because we are the Michigan men in the room. Us in 2023 versus this Indiana team.
That's also
I'll go big blue, but
us in 2023.
I'll go big blue, but I think it's a. I think 19 is a blowout. If they would,
I think we would win. Michigan 2023. Michigan would probably win by like a touchdown or 10 points.
I was gonna say 6 points. Yeah. Yeah.
After looking at what Miami did, I think Michigan still does it, but it's probably closer than most.
Set the line at 4.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. LSU set the line at 7.
I think Indiana's probably got the quarterback advantage, but let's be honest, that Michigan team, you could throw anyone at QB, and they probably would have won the Natty that year.
Except John O'Corn. I'll make it
except John O'Corn.
He ain't beating Bama.
But Jake Rudock, I think maybe.
Jake Rudock might have.
Yeah.
Jake Rudock arguably might have been better that season than JJ McCarthy was.
Better team. Yeah. Jake Rudock did more with less.
Okay, fellas, we're going to do our 2026 top 10. The way we're breaking it down, we're each going to go around the horn here. Not just to do all top 10 because that gets a little too much.
Yeah.
How about we do top 5 and then we'll do 6 through 10 after that. And that's it. I mean, it's just what do you think the top 10 AP, if you want to say all that going into this? I don't love the preseason poll, but just give me your feel for next season, top 10 teams. You think these teams, I don't know about making the playoffs, but like these will be the 10 best teams. You know what I'm saying? I mean, top 10 teams. There we go. What do y'all got?
This is our personal top 10 or what we think the AP is going to have?
I don't know. No. Stu, I thought we were doing personal.
Right? Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Personal.
You know what I mean? Like, or your AP. Yeah. You know, you're the writer here.
Gotcha.
It's yours.
All right.
Go ahead.
Gotcha.
You're the Associated Press. So, Dak or Stu, please start us off. Top 5 for you, and then
Dak.
Next guy goes, and I'll go 3.
You guys want to start?
Apparently, no. Apparently, you have something that I've been waiting to hear. So
yeah, I think Dak should start here.
I have no clue.
Okay, so I am personally I've been torn on my top 5. It's not that crazy. At least I don't think it's that crazy. But I've been torn on my top 5. My top 10 I'm fairly set on. But I've been a bit split on my top 5. Do we want to go start with 5 down to 1 or start with 1?
No. Start with 1.
No. 1 through 5. 1.
That's too confusing. Just go 1 through 5. No.
Okay. All right. My number 1 team in the country. I've gone back and forth. I've tossed teams in and out of my top 5. Not in and out of the top 10 as much. My number 1 team, I'm going to go with Georgia.
Okay.
I had
whoa.
So I had a listen. I had a few different teams in mind. And then as I was going through my top 10, and this is what I think Stu was getting at, like why I was surprised about some of the picks. As I was going through my top 10, I had a theme of, I'm getting tired of putting teams there in like the preseason top 10 or even going through week 8 in the top 10 that ultimately flounder in the end. And I'm kind of getting sick of it. I need them to show me a little bit more before I put them back in some of those top spots. Georgia's been right on the cusp for like the last few seasons. 2 years ago, it was kind of tough. Carson Beck got hurt. Gunnar Stockton had to come in. This past year, I really thought was the year. Their defense wasn't the same throughout the entire season, but it got better towards the end. I did not expect that to happen against Ole Miss. Would they beat Miami? I don't know.
Magic. It was magic. Trinidad was magic in that game.
Exactly. But I think this is probably the year where you're getting Kirby Smart's best because when was the last time they were in even the Final Four? It was probably when they won a national championship in
22.
Yeah.
Because 23 was they probably should have been in it, but they weren't because they lost the SEC championship, the only game they lost all year.
And that was it. And so they are going to be my number 1 team.
Wow.
My number 2 team, and I thought about putting them at 1, and it kind of goes against what I was saying of like, all right, you got to show it to me before you do it. I'm going to go with Oregon is my number 2 team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, listen, it's a little, hey, it's
good. That's just wow.
No, it's a little bit different. I'm going with
Dante Moore's coming back.
So that's kind of my biggest thing. Is Oregon's been hyped up probably every single season. They were the number 1 team going into the playoffs 2 years ago. They got demolished in the playoffs. They were the whatever they were this year. They were number 5 going into it this year. They got demolished again. Dan Lanning has shown pretty much on the big stage every single time. He has not been able to come through. A couple bad losses against Washington, Ohio State. And then obviously this year against Indiana. But kind of what we were talking about with Mendoza and Indiana is, I think a big thing is, can you get your quarterback back? And not even just a veteran quarterback, but a quarterback who's in the same system. I think that's big. It's tough that they're losing both their coordinators, but they promoted from within, which I think is helpful. Their D-line is still good. You still have Decore and Moore. They're going to have weapons on offense. And so
They
for
got a
right
lot
now,
on defense in the portal too.
And they got a lot of defense in the portal. Yep. And so for right now, I'm going Oregon at number 2. Number 3, I am going to go with Ohio State at number 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Ohio State lost a lot. I feel like they people were almost maybe sounding the alarm when the portal first opened, because a lot of guys jumped in the portal and it looked like they were losing a bunch of guys. Of course, you lose Carnell Tate, you lose Arbel Reese. Like, those are huge guys to lose there. A sneaky addition, not because of maybe what he brings intellectually on the offensive side of the ball, Arthur Smith, because his father is the founder of FedEx. And that's a lot of cash. Ohio State already.
Can I say this?
The window's over, though. The window's over.
That's kind of future stuff.
I agree. Yeah. I agree, but that's still big. I think
Smith, they had the most departures too, right? I think they had outside of like Iowa State. I think out of like the big time schools, they had the most departures.
They lost a lot of guys. Yeah. They did. And I'm spacing on his name right now, but LSU, their former wide receivers coach, who kind of killed guys. Same thing he did at Georgia. He also went there, but you still have Jeremiah Smith, which is obviously super key. And so, and Julian Sayin. And so you're kind of running back a lot of what you have on offense. And so I'll still put them at 3. They finally have kind of a tough schedule for the first time.
Very tough. Very tough. Yeah.
Yeah, for the first time in what feels like years. Because I saw, at least on Ohio State Twitter, they're we've been excited maybe twice a year. You play Michigan, then a playoff game, and that's been about
They have a stretch where it's obviously they play Michigan and they
at USC.
But it's USC, Indiana, I think bye week, and maybe I'm mixing this up, Oregon, or it's one of those. It's all that variation of those 3 teams. Indiana, I think they get Indiana. They have to go on the road.
They play at Iowa too.
Oh yeah, they play at Iowa. It's one of the
they play at Iowa.
Michigan's one of the first Big Ten games. Yeah, they got a tough schedule. I think they got to go out to USC. I'm with you here. Okay, all right.
They have 6 games that obviously they'll probably win majority of them, but 6 games that aren't gimmies.
Number 4. So I got Georgia, then I got Oregon, then I got Ohio State. Number 4. This was kind of the team that I thought about putting outside of my top 5, just because, again, got to see him do it in a big spot. But the rosters are so talented. I'm going Texas. And this is when they finally have to do it. I love that they're bringing Arch back. They got Hollywood Smothers at running back. And who is it? Raleek Brown, right?
Yeah, Arizona State. Yeah. Mother's mother. Yeah.
Yeah, their RB room is insane. And then Cam Coleman. Yeah.
Muschamp's back at defensive coordinator.
And you got Muschamp back. Yeah, that's a huge get. And Arch, the expectations were obviously high going into what was year 1 for him starting.
You got Arch with confidence now too. Arch finally has confidence.
Yeah. And Arch played better down the stretch. He really did. And he looked good in that bowl game. I mean, he's athletic as you can get right now at quarterback. And then he's got a hell of an arm. And so I think the pressure is a little bit off of him too. We'll see what the Heisman preseason rankings are. But still, the pressure's off. Yeah.
Does he not?
Compared to last year,
can I say this? Does he go 1 even in this draft? Is that crazy to say?
It's not.
It's not. Even Mendoza's 2, then fine. But it's not crazy to say. It's just not.
No, it's not. It's not.
I would say especially this draft, just because this draft's so weak at QB.
Mendoza is a good quarterback, but the ceiling of this kid who's running faster than any time clock than by Saquon Barkley did not run faster than him this year in the NFL at all. He didn't. The facts are there. He ran faster than him when clocked at miles per hour. But
if you're the Raiders too, you're probably not looking to win now. You're still going through a rebuild, and so Mendoza maybe gives you a better chance to go win next year, right? But if Arch is on the board, no, it's not crazy to think that he would go there. And so I put them at 4. Again, got to see him do it. Sark's got to do it this year. Like, you just have to. Otherwise, you start asking questions. But number 5, there's only like a few teams I felt like I could pick from here. I will put Indiana at 5, which I think.
Oh, okay,
wow.
Which I think was the one that
the claim you made. Yeah, the claim you made to me and Dave was no Indiana in the top 5.
No, I know. I said no Indiana in the top 5. You would definitely have to put them in the top 10. The reason that I said that, and I think this happens a lot of the time, is the champion from the year before, you feel obligated to automatically put them into the top 5 or into the top 3, wherever you put them in the preseason rankings. But year before doesn't necessarily say what you're going to do next year. They did lose a lot of guys. Like Pons was a guy that followed Cignetti from JMU all the way to Indiana for a couple of years. Aiden Fisher, also their linebacker. That's another guy that followed him from JMU all the way to Indiana. You lost a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. And I understand Hoover is very good. Rourke was very good the year before. But what Mendoza gave you was consistency. Like, you don't necessarily need a guy to throw for 4,500 yards and throw for 45 touchdowns, I guess. But you need a guy who's going to be consistent, run your offense the right way, not put your defense in a bad spot. And that was Mendoza. And to say Hoover is going to be that apples to apples, I think that's tough to say. But you still got to give them their flowers. And they had a top 7 recruiting class. Is that right? Like top 7, top 8. And
their transfer portal was elite. They got
Marsh
from right. They got the kid Marsh from Michigan.
I think their recruiting class was actually like, I think they were in like the 30s for high school recruiting, but their transfer portal class.
That's not what. That's not what they're built on, right? Yeah.
No, portal class. And we just said it. Cignetti's probably a top 2 coach in college football, and so I'm going to put him at 5. Stu, when you and I had that conversation, I did feel that way. I was like, I'm not going to just auto put them in the top 5 because of what they did this year. Looking at the rest of the teams, though, you kind of have to. Indiana's at least proved it. Cignetti's proved it. So I'm going them at 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stu, do you want this?
Yeah, I'll take mine. I just kind of winged mine right here. But starting off with number 1, we were just talking about them. I got the Indiana Hoosiers at number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have them there not only because they just win the Natty, but because I am a Josh Hoover believer, as I think we all are. I think he's going to be great for them. I think he's going to be don't know if you could say he's going to be able to like manage the game and play as smart a football as Mendoza did, but who knows? He definitely could. But I can tell you for sure he's going to throw for more yards than Mendoza. So you're getting a gunslinger there. Like Dak said, great transfer portal class. And you just got to trust Sig at this point. I think after winning the Natty this year and only his second year at Indiana, you got to think they're only going to build on that. It's hard to imagine they're going to regress. And even if they don't win the Natty next year, you got to imagine they're at least going to be in the conversation for it at the very end in the playoffs. So I got Indiana number 1. Number 2, Dakbot, I'm right there with you. I got Oregon at number 2. Dante Moore coming back was huge. Without Dante Moore coming back, I probably wouldn't even have him in the top 5. But I would talk about Carson Beck, a guy I was extremely wrong on coming into this season. And I'll say the same thing about Dante Moore. He did kind of show his UCLA side in that final game against Indiana, but Indiana was beating the piss out of everyone towards the end, making everyone look shitty. They made Julian Sayin look like shit when they played Ohio State too. I think Dante Moore has definitely progressed and matured as a quarterback and coming back for another season. I know we were saying Arch Manning probably going to be the number 1 pick after next season, but if Dante Moore plays better and builds on what he did this past season, I think he's going to be right up there in that conversation too, depending on how the playoffs goes for them next season. They addressed a ton on defense. They got some of the top cornerbacks in the portal. And then their D-line, as Dak said, is still going to be really good next season. They still got Decoria Moore at wideout. I got Oregon at number 2. Number 3, I got Notre Dame, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Shout out CJ Carr from our high school, Saline, Michigan.
Shout out.
I just think this is a big, not only do they have a great roster coming back, they were tied for the most 5 stars in the normal high school recruiting class this year. Them and Ohio State both had 5. They were tied for the most. their transfer portal, although it started off very, very slow, they actually ended up doing pretty well. I think they actually finished top 10 in transfer portal rankings too. So they clearly only made their roster better going into this next season. They have probably one of the easiest schedules in college football. They play 8 teams that had 8 or more losses last season. So you got to imagine, especially with that new rule, that they pretty much have a playoff spot carved out for them.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, they're
Only
going to be
tough
right
games
there
on
in the
their
mix at the
schedule,
end.
Stu. The only ones that we look through this that are losable are they get Miami and it's in November at home, SMU at home in later November, and then I think there's another one out there that I'm trying to. It's on the road somewhere. I can't remember where it is exactly off the top
Michigan
of my head.
State.
Not Michigan State. No, they have one more that's like kind of at BYU early on. That's it though.
Oh
That's
yeah.
it. That's they don't play USC this year. So continue. I just have to say like that's their schedule this year.
Yeah, no, it's a cakewalk for the most part, and yeah, I also just think it's a big part of having the revenge season too. I think they obviously, whether you think they were weak or soft for acting the way they did after not making the playoffs, they're obviously pissed off about it, and so I think they're
It's the
going to be
fan base,
practicing.
right? Bunch of idiotic fans.
Yeah. They're going to be practicing this offseason with something to clearly prove going into next year. So I have
The
them as
team
my
will
number 3
galvanize.
team.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have them at 3. At 4, I have Georgia there. You obviously got Gunnar Stockton coming back for another season. We saw Georgia get a lot better as the season went on this year. Kind of same thing as Notre Dame. I think they kind of just built on their roster that they have right now. I think they kind of brought in more additions and retained and are just going to have an overall better roster going into the next season. And we just talked about Kirby Smart, probably the only coach you would take over Kurt Cinetti right now, maybe. So yeah, I got Georgia at number 4. And then number 5, I have the Texas Longhorns. Dak kind of hit on it, but I spent the beginning of this transfer portal talking about how Michigan had undoubtedly the best running back room going into next season. And I still think they have one of the best, top 3. But you got to throw Texas up in there now too with Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown from Arizona State. The O-line should hopefully be better. And then obviously you got Cam Coleman too. And then Arch Manning, as we said, he built on the rough season he was having early on. He's got full confidence now, way less pressure. So I imagine we're going to see what we saw from Arch at the end of the season, probably all season next year, if I had to guess. And so, yeah, I got Texas at number 5.
Okay. I reacted the way I did because I was like, there's no way anybody's taking IU at 1. I have IU at 1. I do.
Okay. I knew Stu was taking him at 1. Yeah.
It's like a Cignetti thing, man. Like after they beat Ohio State and then national championship, it really goes back to when they beat Oregon the way they did. After Mendoza threw a pick. Now I understand Mendoza's gone. I understand they're losing a lot of players, but this dude, I'm not doubting Kirk Cignetti anymore. He's just one of those coaches I can't. And I think Josh Hoover will be just fine for them. They addressed the transfer portal. They got Marsh from Michigan State, who's very talented. Their O-line's going to be good. And then also they got Turbo, whatever the hell his last name is. Great name for a running back out of Boston College. I want IU 1, and not just give him flowers for winning, but I think he might be the best damn coach in the country other than Kirby Smart. That's it. The only other person I'll put there is Kirby Smart. Sure. And up for debate, and I actually probably would still take Kirby until I see a little more, but one more year of sample size, it might be enough. For me, number 2 is I'm debating here between 2 teams that happen to play each other right away. And I noticed Stu did not put them on his top 5. I did notice that.
Yeah.
But I will go. My heart wants to say one thing. My head wants to say the other, but you know what? F it. I'll go with the heart. I think it's the Texas Longhorns. It's got to be
there. You go.
Right. I like Arch Manning more than like Julian saying. I don't know if I like Sark more than like Ryan Day from a no fandom standpoint, right? Just like looking at the coaching. But I will take Will Muschamp over to whoever the hell they're bringing in at defensive coordinator. So I'll take that. I think Will Muschamp coming in is huge for the Texas Longhorns. The running back room, you both have touched on it. Cam Coleman
Texas
now.
is going to beat them to start the year. Mark my words. I think Texas is going to be Ohio State, and
hopefully
I might end up throwing a lot on that. Yeah.
Let's go.
Dude, that might be a bad
get wasted. Let's go.
That might be a bad omen. I don't know.
Longhorns. Let's go. Let's go to the game.
I'd be down. Yeah.
I'm sure it's expensive. I don't really care. Ohio State is going to be 3, but let me finish off Texas here. That's what I was saying. It's right there. It's like 2A, 2B for me. Texas, I think Arch Manning, I had to watch him obviously for work and watch him the game slowed down for him astronomically. I mean, I think the fact that when he played Ohio State week 1, and Ohio State fans, if there's anyone watching this, will be like, are you out of your mind? Like, did you see him play against us in the first game? I did. And I think Arvell Reese is gone. I think Caleb Downs is gone. I think a lot of these guys on your defense are gone. And not just that, but the fact of the matter is, I think he just grew up. He played for 2 games. He only started 2 games prior to that game. It was on the road. Tough spot to be in. But still, they're losing a lot of guys, but Ohio State's losing even more guys. I think the Will Muschamp hire is huge. Pete Kwiatkowski is kind of more of a West Coast kind of guy when it comes to defense, more laissez-faire. You still have Colin Simmons. You got all these guys coming in that are going to be studs. They transfer from Pitt. I like their secondary. I like their front 4. I like their linebackers overall. I think their O-line, Stu, you touched on that, could be a little bit better. But I think more of these guys got experience. A lot of them were gone. They went to the draft last year. I think Arch Manning is going to be the best quarterback next year. We saw what he did, not only against Michigan, but what he did against A&M. And if you go back to the Georgia game, we all watched it together. It wasn't his fault that he wasn't on the field and Sark was not ready for the onside kick in that moment. And, dude, he was off the field for 14 minutes of actual playing time. That's a whole quarter, from the 3rd to the 4th quarter. So you're going to put that on him? I'm not. And these wide receivers are dropping the ball. Ryan Wingo's a great talent, but they need a dog, and they got it in Cam Coleman, who's going to be a first-round pick. Wingo needs to establish that when it comes to his route running and everything. He's a good kind of, screen guy. He can make his own plays happen, but he just has dropped a lot of balls. We've seen that. So I'll go with Texas. Ohio State, I'm going to give them their flowers there too. Julian Sayin is not a bad quarterback. We've obviously seen him lose the last 2 games, but he's growing up too, right? These guys got to start football games and get thrown into it. So I understand you guys.
Julian's saying I think he's really like an A quarterback, grade of an A quarterback when he doesn't have a lot of pressure. I give him like a C when he does face a lot of pressure. So I think that it depends how he matures and how their O-line looks next year, because they did lose a lot on the O-line too.
They did. I still like their wide receiver room. I know Tate's gone, but they still got Jeremiah Smith. It was a little underwhelming last year, I must say. But I think Ohio State's going to be a damn good team. Their schedule's tough. I don't know how good they're going to be when it comes to, are they going to be in the Big Ten championship? Are they going to win a national championship? From a talent standpoint, I'll put them at 3. Here's where I have kind of like a 4A, 4B kind of thing. Yeah. There's 2 teams here. I'll go with Georgia. I initially thought Notre Dame, and so that's actually the next team here. But I'm going to go with the Georgia Bulldogs. Gunnar Stockton, best coach, I think, other than Signetti, and I probably would still take Kirby if you're asking me today, even with the way that Sig's coached. A little bit of a high here. I think we've just seen a lot from Kirby Smart. They're a damn good team, and I think they're going to win a lot of football games. I like what they return. I don't think Zachariah Branch is going to be able to come back. I think he's probably just going to go to the draft, I think.
Yeah, I think he's
Gunnar Stockton's a gamer, man. He's a gamer. I mean, there's no other word around it. He's coming back, experienced guy. They're going to win a lot of damn football games. They'll probably be in the SEC championship. He'll probably be against Texas because I think those 2 stand out. There is another team I'll get to in the top 10, and Dak might want to hear that. Maybe I'm just kind of giving a little preview here. There's not. I think it's Texas, and I think it's Georgia, and I think it's kind of the field when it comes to SEC teams. To me. So, I mean, I don't think you guys listen to any of the SEC teams. Actually, I know you didn't. So, I'll go with Georgia there. Notre Dame, though, I like C.J. Carr. I like Marcus Freeman. Jeremiah Love's gone. That sucks for them, but they're going to replenish. They're going to have a great O-line. They're going to have good running backs. They're going to have good receivers. I will say, I think the fact they lost some coordinators. Now, can we –
they still
Kevin
have
O'Leary? Who was this guy, Kevin O'Leary? Was he there 2 years prior, and then he went to Western? I think he was the safeties coach. Now he's the defensive coordinator at the Chargers. I don't know. I was getting into the weeds of who Jim hired, and he was at –
I think
at Notre Dame.
I thought he was like the DB's coach at Notre Dame, and then then he went to.
Then he went to go DC, the Broncos in Western Michigan, and now he's the defense coordinator of the Chargers.
Interesting hire, but he was he was with Harbaugh and Minter at one point, right?
No, you know where he was though. No, I don't think he was. I saw a tweet come out, and it was like, This guy Miles something, who's from, I think he's at Notre Dame as we speak, or no, he's with Baltimore now with Jesse.
Yeah.
He was with Jesse as a player. He was a wide receiver at Indiana State.
Okay.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I mean, and Robert Tunyon, you know that name, right?
Yeah.
Remember Nick Bellis always talking about him? He's also was a part of that Indiana State team. You go down the weeds of all these guys. There's this weird pocket of guys from Indiana State that have all branched out, and Jesse Minter is one of them, who's now the head coach of the Ravens. Crazy. All right, back to Notre Dame real quick. Schedule. Oh, aside from that, yes, it's easy. They're going to have a spot in the playoff. They probably should have this year. I'm glad they're going to take out one of the group of 5 teams. Note on that too. This year, if you win the ACC, you're in. So hypothetically, the new rules are if you won the ACC, so Duke, right? They would have been technically the 11 or 12 seed. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
no James Madison this year. The way they're doing it,
and I think Miami would have been out, right?
No,
because I thought it was with the way I saw a tweet with the way the rules were this year. Duke would have gotten in and would have jumped Miami, but Notre Dame was still top 12, and so they get the auto bid at top 12.
Okay. I wasn't counting the Notre Dame top 12.
Yeah,
but I thought it was the group of 4 automatically the winner gets in. No.
I think group.
Well, then why would there be 2 group of 5 teams?
So are you saying the Power 4 auto gets in?
Power 4. Sorry. Power 4. Yes.
So it was Power 4 auto gets in. And then Notre Dame, if they're in the top 12, I'm
excluding. I'm saying last year without.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? If there was last year this implemented rule without the Notre Dame, you're right. Yeah. Without the Notre Dame signed into the top 12, so you're right. Notre Dame would have been it. You are correct. But like you see what I'm saying? It would have been Duke, and then I think it would have been technically Tulane, right? Yeah. But you're right. Notre Dame's going to get in. Long story short, I think they got a damn good quarterback. I think they got a damn good team. And I think they have a great coach. So. Notre Dame. That's my 5. So my 5 were IU, Texas, OSU, Georgia, Notre Dame. I did not include Oregon. Stu did not include Ohio State, and Dak did include Notre Dame, if I'm correct. From the only thing that varied.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that was the only difference. So what was your top 5 in order? It was you went Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what was yours, Dak?
Mine was Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Indiana.
And Stu, yours was IU, Oregon, right?
IU, Oregon, Notre Dame, Georgia, Texas.
Okay. Dak, take the floor. Who's your 6 through 10?
Yeah, 6 through 10.
This is where it gets interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah,
this is where it's going to be fun. Yeah.
So, and I guess like kind of the big theme will be at least for my like 1 through 10 will be like the Notre Dame thing. I'm trying to not go off of like, yes, they have an easy schedule. They're going to be 11-1, 12-0.
No, don't do that. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know,
just best team, just best team. Not what the record's going to be.
The thing is, automatically with that thought process, and maybe you have them in your top 6 through 10. Texas Tech's in. Look at their schedule. They're in. Yeah. So continue. Yes.
Anyways. So number 6, they're losing a lot, but I like what they did this year. Again, we talk about top head coaches right now. I think he's one of them. He kind of just proved it right now. I'm going Miami still at 6. It's tough losing Carson Beck. They got what's his name, Mensah from Duke. Obviously, you lose Ruben Bain.
Is that official?
Yeah, it's official. Yeah, it went through. Yeah.
Is he getting sued?
They're still suing him, but he's at Miami as it sits.
Yeah.
So
wow.
And it's like the Clemson Ole Miss thing. Dabo Pitts.
Yeah, there's not. I don't know what they can do about it. He's there.
He's gone. Yeah. But yeah, you lose Ruben Bain, you lose Mesidor. You got to have guys step up. They're still gonna have a good D line. You still got Tony. You still got Fletcher. And you're playing in the ACC, and so I give him a good shot. You know, it sucks losing a bunch of NFL guys, but I think
Tony's in the portal, Dak, but he'll probably come back.
I think he's coming back. Yeah. And so like you're just being in Miami, you're still gonna like they had a top 5 transfer class, if I'm not mistaken. And Chris Paul's a great coach, and so I'm still putting them at 6. I think they're in a pretty good spot. Number 7. This is gonna be a bold take because I almost left them outside of my top 10. I'm trying to just do a little something different with the top 10. Not just go
Have
south.
at it.
I'm going USC at number 7.
Oh,
I'm going
Wow.
USC. Did you have them high?
I
guess
them on
was
this list,
shocking.
Yeah.
I think the big theme is, can you bring your quarterback back? Is your quarterback experienced and experienced within your system? Maeva coming back, I think, is huge for them. They had a great high school recruiting class. This is the year Lincoln just number one. This is the year that Lincoln absolutely has to get it done. I think they brought their entire offensive line back too, which is
they're
big.
They're losing Lemon, as we know, and I'll say this: I think Dak, because they're on my list. I won't say where they are. Gary Patterson is their defense coordinator. Is a massive hire, bro. Massive hire.
Yep,
massive.
That one's huge because like that's always been the thing too with Lincoln is like you can't put it together defensively. Yeah, at Oklahoma, and then
Bob Ryan is not the DC anymore. Thank God.
Yeah, especially playing in the Big Ten, like you got to do something on the defensive side of the
football. Wink Martindale 2.0.
They've had the guys there too. Like it's not like when he was at Oklahoma, they were kind of smaller on defense. Right. That's not the case.
We saw it this year. They're a big team. They just had a tough schedule.
Exactly. Tough schedule. Didn't always come up in big spots, but I think the potential's there. They're running it back with a lot of the same guys.
Yeah.
And then
no Notre Dame this year, which is great.
Yep. Could have been, but there was the whole debacle with USC.
They don't want to play Notre Dame because it only hurts US. Like, think if USC played fucking.
No, I know.
They got a pretty tough schedule next year too.
They do, but Stu, think if you inserted Northwestern into their schedule this year, they might be in at 10-2. They might be in.
Oh, 10-2 for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying, though? That's the next Big Ten team. Like, I don't blame them because they were 9-3 and they lost to who? They lost to Oregon. They lost to obviously Notre Dame, and there was somebody else, right? Or I tripping? Did they go 10-2?
No, they went 9-3.
No,
they lost they lost to Illinois. No, they lost to Illinois.
Oh,
they lost that game to Illinois out there in Champaign.
Supposedly, everybody had food poisoning.
They all had food poisoning. Whatever. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, dude, they beat the piss. I know it's Sharon Moore, and we go back. But Stu, you and I watched that game. Like, that team was significantly better than Michigan. Like that was one 9-3 team compared to the other 9-3 team was like, oh, this team's actually good.
Yeah.
All right, number 8. I'm kind of going against what I just said in terms of the schedule thing. I am going to go Texas Tech at number 8.
Okay. Well, good transfer portal for sure.
Great transfer portal again. They spent a lot of money. Good head coach, and you brought in Sorsby. So they're top 5 in almost every single defensive category, especially in terms of against the run. Great defense last year. They'll probably have a really good defense this year. Obviously, use Bailey. That's tough, but people thought their offense was okay last year. It turns out it looked terrible against Oregon, about as bad as it could get, and they got exposed. Sorsby's a good quarterback. He would have ended up being good, I think, anywhere else too, but I think that's huge for him, and so I'm putting Texas Tech at 8. And like you guys said, like they got an easy schedule. Like it's going to be tough if they don't go 11-1 or 12-0. Yeah. Which kind of gives you time, I guess, to figure some things out too. But it's also tough because then you don't know what your weaknesses are. But we'll see. Stu, you're going to say?
I was going to say that game in Stillwater, that'll tell us what we need to know about Texas Tech.
Yeah, which I won't give it away. But number 9, I am going to put Notre Dame there. I know most people
probably do. Yeah.
I know most people would put Notre Dame a lot higher. I do like Marcus Freeman. You still have Mike Dunbrock, who is one of the best offensive coordinators in the country. CJ Carr's coming back, still young, but coming back. I think that's big. It sucks losing Jeremiah Love. Like that's really tough. Their defense, I think, was top 20 for the most part, or at least in most categories last year. But I felt like in some of the bigger games, they gave up 30 points. Like they gave up 30 to Miami. They gave up like 35 to Texas A&M. I know that was early, but still they went through some struggles on the defensive side of the ball. So they got to clean up a lot of that. But that's what Marcus Freeman does best. It's just tough because like same thing as Texas Tech. Their schedule is super easy. And so like they're going to get in since they have the automatic 12 now. Like they're going to be a playoff team, but you're not going to see a lot from them. That's like,
no, we'll see. We'll see. Only one Big 12 team's getting in. I wonder who it is.
Are you talking about? I was saying Notre Dame.
Oh, sorry. I went back to Texas Tech. Sorry.
No, yeah, you're good. But Notre Dame, I think for sure getting in. I still want to see it a little bit more from. I know they went to the national championship 2 years ago. Riley Leonard played out of his mind. Jeremiah Love played out of his mind.
Yes, he did.
And so I think losing Jeremiah Love is huge. And there was a little bit of, the offseason turmoil definitely was there because Marcus Freeman was talked about for some NFL jobs. They didn't bring in any transfers early. I think there's got to be a tiny bit of a reason for that. Maybe not. But they had no commits a couple of weeks into the portal season. And then obviously you had the whole bowl game debacle and all of that. And so they want it bad, but there is a little pressure of like, hey, Notre Dame, you have this auto bid now. You better go do it. Like there's no reason for you to not get in now. And so that is there. But I do have them at 9. Number 10, Oklahoma State. North Texas had number 10, Oklahoma State. North Texas had one of the best offenses in the country last year. Yep. Mestamaker
over LSU.
I'll get into LSU. But Mestamaker is the guy. He's the man. 0-star recruit, 2 superstar. They had a great transfer class, obviously, because they got a bunch of guys from North Texas that he brought with them. Similar to what happened with Penn State and Iowa State. But I think they're going to be electric on the offensive side of the ball. They don't have the same sort of financial buy-in now long term because who was it that died? One of their big donors.
Boone Pickens.
Yeah, passed away, which is huge. But no, I think they're going to be electric next year. That's a team to watch out for, and I'm going to put them at number 10.
All they got to do is probably win like 8 games. Probably 9 games. If they win 9 games, I bet you some rich dude from Oklahoma State or who graduated from Oklahoma State.
Someone with oil money. Yeah, my boy T. Boone Pickens died in 19.
T. Boone. Yeah.
Boone
Yeah, that's my 6 through 10.
All right, I like that.
Can we get the where LSU sits at in your hypothetical top 25? Where are you throwing them at?
Stuart, that's a good question. Roster-wise, there's absolutely no reason for them to not be top 5. Say what you want about Lane Kiffin. He is one of the best coaches in college football, and guaranteed their offense is going to be good no matter what. And you retain Blake Baker, too, who's one of the best defensive coordinators in college football as well. And that's kind of been Kiffin's thing, right, is can you produce a defense, not just the offensive side of the ball. But LSU, I want them to come into this season. I want Lane Kiffin to step into that meeting and, ask the players like, who here drove to practice? Who here took the bus?
No.
I want you to have that fire in your gut. I want LSU to have a little bit of that fire in their gut. That's what I'm looking for this year. So no more.
He got fired He got fired a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, hey.
Now for the Packers.
The sentiment's still there. I don't want them getting glazed. I don't want the top 10 hype. LSU, Clemson, the early national championship. I want them to have.
All right.
I want them to have
top 10 hype with a top 10.
Well, where are you putting them? Where are you putting them on your list?
Where are you putting them? Why are you dancing
Yeah.
around this? I got to call you out. Yeah. Why are you dancing around this? Put them where you want them.
So what you're saying is they're not a top 10
team,
but they're actually a top 5
You want them out of the top 10.
No, they're not top 10. They're not top 10. You got to go show it to me.
Wait till you hear my list and hear if they're top 10.
You got to shock. You got to go show it. Yeah.
You just said LSU's not a top 10 team, but they
but has a top 5 roster, Stuart. Top 5 roster.
And
they totally have a top 5 roster.
You threw USC and Oklahoma State in your top 10.
You got to go. You got to go show it to me. They had a top 5 roster last year.
So does Oklahoma State, who won 2 games.
Yeah. Hey.
Serious?
Hey, this is very fair. I want LSU to prove it a little bit to me. The expectations are a lot higher. You got a lot of pressure on you. The spotlight's been on you in the offseason because your head coach is always running his mouth. Like, that's what he does.
So
I like.
He's catering
all right, so where are they?
His feelings, Stuart. He's catering this list to his feelings. Let's
there's no integrity here with this.
There's integrity. I just want him to show it to me. Hey, let me tell you
this is emotional hedging.
No, it's not emotional hedging. This is not emotional hedging. Lane Kiffin had
He's protecting his feelings who were crushed this year. And I don't blame you. Hey, buddy, I don't blame you. It sucks.
Just wait till you hear mine and you'll hear what a real fan sounds like.
Listen, I'm excited for the season. I need them to show it
Okay.
I got to see it with my own 2 eyes.
Right.
All right, so where are they? What number?
So what number would you actually put them at, Dak?
19.
Your feelings.
19.
Oh.
They're about 19. They're about 19 right now.
God.
Oklahoma State, though. You can't name 2 players on Oklahoma State that isn't Drew Mestamaker and their wide receiver. But you're going to put them top 10. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, they're top 10 football team.
Right,
they got a great head coach.
Right.
Morris is great. Eric Morris is a great head coach. You know, like you got to give him credit.
I do.
So according to you, better head coach.
Two Big 12 teams are in the top 10. SEC man saying that.
I'm trying to not be SEC.
Stuart.
I'm trying to not be.
All right. So if LSU's 19, where's Michigan in your top 25?
Yeah, where's Michigan?
Michigan's hovering around 11 or 12, I would say.
Oh my God.
Hey, listen, dude. Listen. Hey.
Okay.
Michigan's kind of in the same boat. Hey, Michigan's in the same boat. I got to see a little bit more from Michigan this year, right? Before I put them in the top 10. Kyle Whittingham is a great head coach. This is a different conference. All right. Different day and age. They retained a lot of guys with shoes. Getting Andrew Marsh back, I think, is crucial. I think losing Justice Haynes is a big deal. Their offense is going to take a big step forward, though. It is for sure. Michigan's schedule is a little bit tougher this year, but I got to see it. Bryce Underwood's got to take a little bit of a step. They just have to. But I still put them at, around that 11, 12 range for sure.
Okay. Hey, Stu, how about you go? Let's get this guy off. Let's get him off.
All right.
Well, I'm not putting LSU top 10.
Are you shitting me?
Hey,
19?
so yeah, about 19, 18,
all right,
19.
Stu, you go. You go ahead. I got my list right.
I'll give before I break down each team. I'll give how many I have from each conference and the remaining of mine. So 6 through 10, I got 1 ACC, I got 1 SEC, 2 Big 10, and 1 Big 12. So that gives you a little hint about where this is going. But at number 6, I have Miami. They lost a lot on the O-line. That's probably where my biggest area of concern would be for Miami right now, outside of QB maybe. But Carson Beck, we were concerned about coming into this season, and he ended up proving me wrong. So what I really like about Miami coming into next season is, as you said, Dak, you got Fletcher coming back. I know Tony's in the portal right now. I think he's just trying to get some of that Jeremiah Smith money because his stats were pretty much identical to Jeremiah Smith's. I think he's just trying to get his price tag up. But I'm sure he'll be back. Hard to imagine a guy from that area leaving. And then the front 7, they are losing a lot, but they also have a lot coming back, and they added a lot. I saw something that Miami's entire projected front 7 for next season, every single player was at one point a top 100 recruit in high school. So it's still talent all over the board on the defensive line. So I imagine they're probably still going to be pretty good in the ACC. Obviously, we saw the ACC this year was a little bit more competitive than we thought. And honestly, a lot of the teams in the ACC were a lot better than we thought this season. But I'm still going to go Miami at number 6. At number 7, this is the one we've been waiting to hear. I got the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh my God, I forgot you hadn't brought them up yet.
Yeah, still a very talented roster. Not gonna drag their roster. The only thing I'm just gonna say is this: the Ohio State offense last season and even a little bit the year before when they won the national championship. Obviously, they won the Natty, but in my eyes, that was a defensive team that won that Natty for Ohio State. And credit to them. And it was a great defensive team this year. I really can't tell you one game outside of the Michigan game where Julian Sayin had all day to throw every time he dropped back, where their offense looked great. That's probably the only game I watched from them where the offense looked great. I would say it was a great performance. I think every other game they played, offense was just kind of good, if you want to say that. So we'll see. Julian's saying he's going to have another year under his belt. Arthur Smith coming in. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with the offense. If it's anything like Patricia, they'll obviously be a lot better because Patricia came in and the defense was even better than the year they won the national championship. So we'll see what happens there. But for right now, I got them at number 7 until I see a little bit more from the offense. And as we said, they play a tough schedule, so we'll get to see it for sure. But number 8, this is a team I don't think either of you got. Dak didn't have it in his top 10. I don't think you're going to have them in yours, Kreitz. I could be wrong. I got Oklahoma and Johnny Meager's return.
That's a good one.
At
They're on
8.
my honorable mention, but
yeah.
I got Oklahoma at number 8. I think John Mateer kind of, in terms of injuries, got like the short end of the stick this season. I think he got kind of screwed with that injury. Didn't really get to show his best ball, and then he was kind of playing catch up from there the whole rest of the season. Obviously, they had the big win against Alabama before the playoffs. That was more the defense winning that game for them. So I think we've yet to see the best from John Mateer at Oklahoma, and I think
Quick
that's what we're going to
question.
get this upcoming season.
Last year, can you target a moment where you think John Mateer was at his best?
I can. Yeah, and it was against the Michigan Wolverines. And I think you guys would say the same, that he looked great in that game. He looked awesome.
Yeah, you look really good.
You did. He did. He was baller that.
Yeah. So yeah, Oklahoma number 8. Number 9, I have Texas Tech. Not necessarily because I'm a Brendan Sorsby believer. I actually think he's a little overrated,
like
as I've said before on here. But really easy schedule, still got a great defense and a great overall roster. So it's hard for me to imagine them taking a step back. Although I don't think Brendan Sorsby is a top 5. I don't think he's a top 5 QB in college football. Still probably an upgrade from what they just had.
Oh
So I'll
God!
go Texas.
Oh, that dude didn't only hurt them. I mean, he was crying. Morton was awful. Baron Morton's a terrible quarterback. That's why they spent $5 million on this cat. Like,
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, I got Texas Tech at number 9. Number 10, I'm not gonna do the emotional hedging like Dak over here. I got the Michigan Wolverines at number 10.
Yes.
And
there you go.
And I got reasons for days as to why I have them here. Outside of the obvious one, the complete culture shift that's underway as we speak. You look at the roster and what they did, kind of playing catch up compared to everyone else in this transfer portal with such a late coaching hire. You retained essentially every big player on your roster. You lost a couple that meant something. One of them I
Justice
spoke
Haynes.
about on here, Cole Sullivan, tough loss. And Justice Haynes, to be honest with you, I don't think it's as tough of a loss as you think it is, Dak. And the main reason is because Jordan Marshall pretty much put the exact same output that Justice Haynes put out after Justice Haynes went down. And on top of that, Michigan offensive. You got Savion Hyder backing up Jordan Marshall, Bryson Cusdall, who we saw is more than a serviceable running back. He's coming back. He's going to be on the roster too. So you got a pretty good 3 deep right there. And a big thing that a lot of people don't realize about Michigan is that their O-line was a Joe Moore finalist this year. As shocking as that is, it took me until after the season to even realize that. But they ran the ball really well. Pass pro wasn't the best, but in terms of run blocking, Michigan was, again, one of the best teams in college football in that area. And you're bringing back everyone on that offensive line. Texas tried to get 2 of those offensive linemen. Every single one of them's coming back. The only one who left was Ty Haywood. He transferred to Alabama, but he only played, I think, like in 3 games last season. So it's not a key player you're missing on the O-line. Receiver room, they completely revamped. They went and got J.J. Buchanan from Utah. He was actually listed as a tight end, but he plays a little bit more at receiver. And he was Utah's leader in terms of yards after the catch. And he also had the least amount of drops for Utah. I think he had 2 drops all season last year. And as we saw in Michigan last season, drops were a huge problem. So that's a big add. You got Jamie French from Texas, who, I'll be honest, don't know a ton about him, but I know that the people who do know about him really like him and his potential.
Dude, can I step in? I've been covering this kid since I've been really on air, because that's the time frame. It was 3 years ago when I really got on air, and he didn't get a lot of time at Texas. I think it's just because they've had all of these 5 stars. But I love watching his tape at Jacksonville, like when he was in high school. I really think this kid's gonna be good. Like, he's super talented.
Yeah, I think everyone I've heard who's like covered him or really looked at him says they really like his ceiling. I think what I heard was a big reason why he didn't get on the field that much for Texas was because he had a little bit of trouble digesting Sark's playbook. It was a little too complicated for him. So I don't know if that's true, but that's just what I heard. And then in terms of Bryce Underwood, you got to know OC now, who specializes in making the most out of what he has. And with Bryce, didn't have a QB coach last year, as we all learned from the viral clip on Urban Meyer's podcast. you got a QB coach now, and you also have a OC who already has shown what he can do with a running quarterback with Devin Dampier. And Bryce Underwood, I think anyone would say, has a better arm than Devin Dampier. So you got to like what's coming on offense. On defense, if there was one area for concern, I would say it's maybe the front seven, specifically at linebacker. But you added guys like, what's his name? John Henry Daly from Utah. He was the either number 1 or number 2 edge in the entire portal. So he's going to be disruptive. Still got a lot of guys on that D line that they retained. And then you look at cornerback. You had Smith Snowden from Utah. You had Chris Bracey from Memphis. And you got Rod Moore, who just got cleared for his 6th year of eligibility in college football. And so, in my eyes, I wouldn't really say this about safeties, but in terms of cornerbacks, when you have Jair Hill, Zeke Berry, and Smith Snowden is your nickel and both outside cornerbacks, I put that right there with the running back room as a top 3 unit in college football, in my opinion. Those are 3 guys who are all going to be NFL DBs. So yeah, I'm going Michigan at number 10. The schedule obviously is way harder. You got to play Indiana, you got to play Ohio State, you got to play Oregon, Penn State, got to play Iowa. So it's definitely going to be a very tough schedule. It's going to be tough sledding. But I think in terms of talent and an entire culture shift, this is a top 10 team, regardless of what the record ends up being. I think a lot of these games are going to be close, regardless of if they win or lose. We're not going to see the ass kickings out in LA like we saw at USC this past season.
I agree. Yeah, they shouldn't see that, and they shouldn't have close games against Northwestern and Purdue, and the list goes on. I like the list, too. They're on my honorable mention list. I did have Oklahoma State up there, Dak. I was giving you a hard time, but I think they'll be a fun team this year. Yeah. Time constraint, I'll give a minute to each team. I want to give a couple minutes to one team that I think Dak knows who it is.
Yeah.
Oregon Ducks do belong in this list. I probably have them a little lower, but I got to go 6 for Oregon Ducks. That's where I have them. Dante Moore comes back. Kenyon Sadiq gone, but they're going to get all their guys back. Evan Stewart, I believe, is going to be back off injury. Hell of a coach with Lanning. Yes, maybe I'm prisoner of the moment a little bit. They got destroyed. They got to figure it out because I'll tell you this. I was talking to my good friend Silas, and obviously I've talked to Ocampo and someone who watches Oregon all the time. Dante Moore needs to figure out under pressure what he's doing. And I think it's good for him to come back to college because he was really bad under pressure. Now, I don't think it was all his fault they lost the way they did, right? But that he froze and he was slow. When we watched that game together, fellas, it was too fast coming at him. So I'm going to put them back a little bit. My expectations for them still be a playoff team in the Big Ten. Maybe going for a Big Ten championship and maybe a championship threat. Still at 6, I think they're a good team, but he needs to grow up a little bit. I think he can. I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL too, but I need to see it, right? He needs to develop. So I'm super glad he came back for Oregon's sake. I think they're going to have a lot of good players returning. The list goes on for like who they brought in, the recruiting, the transfer portal, blah, blah, blah. Number 7 is the LSU Bengal Tigers. I think it's sick. I think it's sick that you say they're 19. That is ridiculous. But hey, Dak, where do they rank in the transfer portal?
They'd be 11 on my list. They're my honorable mention.
They're all-time one, like number 1 all-time.
Okay, so we're putting them at 19, though. We're going to put Oklahoma State ahead of them.
Give or take. It's
for
give
your
or take.
Emotions. For your emotions. Just say it.
You just got to see it. You know, it takes brand new head coach. Takes a couple years. Yeah,
I saw enough from a team that went 11-1 when their head coach was there. And credit to Pete Golding, and credit to Trinidad Chambliss, and credit to Lacey, and credit to these guys over at Ole Miss who got the semifinals. That was Lane Kiffin's team, and Lane Kiffin's a damn good coach, and that's why this whole fiasco
and Charlie Weiss.
And Charlie Weiss is coming, and you're still getting Prince, not Princely. What's his name? Prince. It's something Prince something. Whatever. The DN.
Numawea or whatever. Yeah,
he's coming too. I mean,
if I'm not mistaken, you put a Brian Kelly LSU team top 5 going into this past season.
Mistakes were made. What can I say?
Can I read? I know we're not really including schedules. Dak, why don't you give me just real quick? LSU Tigers are playing the Clemson other Tigers in Baton Rouge. Are they going to win that game?
You guys want to guess the line on that game actually real quick? They just released it.
6.5?
Dude, it's tough. Stu?
I'm going to say LSU 8.5.
Yeah, it's 9.5.
Okay. Louisiana Tech is times 7 of that. At Ole Miss, you can give me an Ole Miss win there if you want. A little rivalry. A&M. A&M hasn't got mentioned yet. I think they're a good team. That's a tough game. McNeese, that's a win. Kentucky, that's a win. Mississippi State, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
At Auburn, that's a win. This Alabama team doesn't scare me, and you get them at home. That's a win. Texas, you get them at home. Okay, maybe your second loss in the year. Haven't seen enough from Tennessee and haven't seen anything from Arkansas. So that's minimally 10-2. So I'm going to go with LSU. And I get we're not doing schedules and all that. I trust Lane Kiffin. I trust in Sam Levitt. I've seen him play in the playoffs a couple of years ago. I trust in LSU. And I think you do too. You just don't want to do it to yourself and set expectations high. They're a damn good team. They are better than 19th. I got to call you out on that. LSU is my 17th.
I mean, if you really think about it, it's an easier schedule and a way better roster than what they had at Ole Miss this year. And
Durham returns.
Way better.
And Durham's coming back. You're running back. Like, I mean, you got guys.
Yeah. Honestly, Harlan Berry's the guy. Like Caden Durham, yeah.
I mean, maybe we're getting you to 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13.
Listen.
Let's get you to 10, wherever you had Oklahoma State.
I mean, you get
a better team than Oklahoma State, Dak.
The D line is filthy. Like, you had a guy like Jordan Ross is that's ridiculous.
Waiting for the analysis from someone who actually knows what's going on there. They're a good team. They're going to make the playoffs this year.
I know. Yeah. No, they definitely should. They definitely should. But that's how Ole Miss was supposed to be 2 years ago when they had Jackson Dart too. And
but you got more resources at LSU. You have a really good quarterback at LSU. See, Ole Miss, they had Jackson Dart 2 years ago. You're talking about.
And they had that loss against Kentucky. That's what killed them. They lost to LSU when they shouldn't have lost to them. Like, it's just these weird games, you know. I'm
going to go LSU. Miami, for all the reasons you guys said, I'm going to put them at 8. We're on a little bit of a time constraint here, so I'm going to go Miami. Great team, great coach. The list goes on. Mentz is going to be down there. I still think they got guys. Tony's going to probably return. Obviously, Fletcher's there. I did go USC and Dak. I think the recruiting class, the transfer portal, the quarterback returning. Now you got Gary Patterson there. USC is going to be a damn good team. And then I do have Texas Tech. They acquired too much, I think, in the portal. I'm going to go with Texas Tech. Give credit to the Red Raiders. I know they didn't show up at all and score at all against that game against Oregon. My honorable mention teams to mention, Stu, you brought them up, Oklahoma, Michigan. I like Oklahoma State as my frisky pick there. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Oregon, LSU, Miami, USC, Texas Tech. And I got to be honest. Stu, it's okay you didn't mention them. I'm sure that you said they're 11, right? It is.
Yeah,
it
LSU
is,
11, yeah.
What you have done in this episode needs to get clipped. You're going to be riding high when they're balling out. And they're a great team. And I'll be rooting for them from, like, as a side team.
Yeah.
But LSU is a damn good team. And they should have high
It's almost like this. It's almost like this weird, like symbiotic bipolar relationship where when everyone else thinks that things are a disaster, you almost fight with every last bone in your body to say that they're not. And then when everything's going great, you want to diminish it. Like,
no, I'm not. Hey, listen. I'm not diminishing it at all. You should see my group chats with my LSU buddies. You should see what's going on in my head. There's no reason they shouldn't be the best team of the country, without a doubt. Like, I'm being genuine. I'm being genuine. There's, without a doubt, these, like, I didn't want to put this much pressure on year one because you got to give Lane Kiffin a little bit of time. I mean, son of a bitch, you brought Blake Baker back. Blake Baker could have been a head coach somewhere. That's huge. You got Charlie Weiss, Lane Kiffin, and then the number one transfer class. Not just the number one transfer class for guys this year, but you went and added depth in your wide receiver room, and you got Hussar Longstreet at quarterback. Like, you don't have your quarterback for this year. You have your quarterback for the future too. Like, what they did in the portal class is absolutely ridiculous. They just, you got to show it to me. But I mean, they have more talent than probably anybody in the country. And like, I think most people would agree. Like, you went and got that many guys. Like, you just did. It's insane.
And yet they're number 19.
Because you got to show it, if you haven't done it. Like,
where was this with Brian Kelly? Why didn't Brian Kelly have to show it? I don't understand.
All right.
It. Like, I don't
if you want okay, listen, if you want my honest opinion, I hated Brian Kelly from the get-go. My heart dropped when I got the notification that they hired him. But we are coming off a couple brutal years with Coach O. You have there's nothing else you can do except for kind of buy in. But I wasn't totally bought in. Then you beat Alabama. You go to an SEC championship game. You have to believe there's something there. And then Jane Daniels is a Heisman Trophy winner. And Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. Like, it's tough to not be like, all right, they have enough pieces there. Maybe you can do it. And you have Blake Baker at DC. You know what? I actually stand by the take last year. Brian Kelly sucks, but there's no reason they should have been that bad.
Okay, all right. So stand by this take. Today, the 29th of January, where do you actually put LSU? Top 10. Where? Because you do believe it. Where in the top 10?
I put them at 7. Fan hat off.
7.
Put your emotions fan hat off. The fan hat to the side. Where, just as an objective analyst,
take
where
the hat
are you
off.
putting LSU?
If we're taking the fan hat off, LSU, I'd put them at my number 2-3 team in the country.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
There we go.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, that defense is going to be elite, and they have all the weapons in the world. It's ridiculous. Like, it's outrageous what they have. But I'm not putting them in my top 10. They're about 19.
Doesn't honesty feel good? Doesn't honesty?
But I'm not being honest. I don't know if that's actually how.
Take off the veil.
They have a tough schedule. Like, that's not where I really want to put. And there's so many pieces.
Michigan's got a harder schedule. Are you serious?
They do still have a tough schedule. Like, it's not a
buddy.
Michigan, bro.
You still
I would kill for Michigan to have your schedule next year.
No, you would not. You still have to play. No, you still have to play Texas. You still have to play Texas.
Are you for real?
Where do you get them? At homecoming home game? Okay.
You get them at home. You get them at home. Yes. You still have to play Texas. Ole Miss? You still have to play Tennessee. At Ole Miss has a different level to it than for most teams. I would
way rather play Tennessee than Indiana. I'd rather play Tennessee than Indiana. I'd rather play Tennessee than Oregon. I'd rather play Tennessee than Ohio State.
I'm not saying that's
I might even rather play Tennessee than Penn State, bro.
I don't know about
that.
That one maybe. Yeah,
they do have Derek Owings, the strength and conditioning coordinator of Indiana. Shout out Celine. All right.
They still have to play Texas. At Ole Miss, week 3 is a completely different beast than playing like if you're the University of Michigan playing Ole Miss week 8, that's different than what's going on right now with LSU and Ole Miss. That's almost a little bit like Michigan State vibes, where it's like you don't know what it's not apples to apples, talent to talent. Like it is, there's a different juice there, and so that makes it a tougher game. That part is true.
All right, fair enough. Hey boys, let's do an episode. I mean, we can talk about the Super Bowl all we want.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle versus the Patriots. Congrats to the Patriots, you guys. I will give you your flowers. You were hot on the Patriots. I thought they were going to be a good team, maybe make the playoffs. Did not think this. So credit to them. Yes, and easy. I mean, you list off and you look at their schedule. I will say this. And I took the points here. I already took +5 of the Patriots. I think there's only the Jets twice and like 2 other teams on their schedule they played this year that outside the playoffs that didn't fire their coach, which is crazy.
Yeah.
The 2 other teams were the NFC South. So, yeah. But credit to them. Credit to Sam Darnold, who made it to the Super Bowl. We'll talk about that later. I personally have to go.
Credit to Mike McDonald, too.
Super Bowl's in 2 weeks. We got time.
Okay. Fellas, great episode. Dak, thank you for showing the real colors. Because I actually had them at 7 before you said that. I couldn't believe my ears. Nobody's taking LSU? I mean, what is this? What is this? Okay.
I mean, I think 7's disrespectful. It should be higher.
Oh, yeah. But 19 isn't.
Right,
but 19 isn't.
I'm just saying from the inside,
Houston's going to be this year, 19th.
The grass isn't always
Iowa at 19th. All right.
For context, On 3 has Utah at 17 right now.
And BYU at 11. Yeah.
They would wax Utah.
All right. Hey, good episode, fellas. Fellas, hey, let's get back after the Super Bowl, a little more offseason talk. Maybe Dak his take will actually develop more into, you know what, I actually believe in my team. And when we get back.
Oh, I believe in my team. I'm just not putting them there.
19. They should send that clip of you picking them 19th to the team and say,
I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they do. Prove me wrong. Don't finish 19th. Yeah.
All right. Great episode, fellas. Been a hell of a year, and we're ready to keep it going in 2026. We want to thank everybody who subscribed. Thank you for the views. It's been our best year yet. Year 3 in the books, fellas. Stuart, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, too, for doing all the work. But we'll be back. 2026, we're in it right now. Let's get to it. Going into next season. We'll talk about the Super Bowl here in a week or so, so stay tuned.
All right. I'll see you, boys.
See you, boys.